Ryanair could look for an alternative aircraft supplier to Boeing because of US tariffs.
It was brutal on Wall Street today, and among the stocks that took a nosedive are local giants Amazon and Boeing, which both dropped about 17 points today.
On the morning of May 7th, 2025, a quiet but devastating message reached Boeing's executive offices in Chicago. The subject line was chilling in its simplicity. Ryanair withdrawal. Europe's largest low-cost airline had just suspended its next round of Boeing jet deliveries. The reason was not safety nor performance, but a financial bombshell. President Donald Trump's aggressive tariffs had suddenly pushed costs to unsustainable levels. Boeing executives were left scrambling as one cancellation triggered cascade. Within hours, 3 more global airlines followed. A major Turkish carrier, a Latin American airline, and an African state-owned carrier all froze or delayed orders, citing price volatility linked directly to Trump's trade war. Boeing's worst fears had come true. The president's unpredictable tariff policy had ignited a global backlash. Could this mark the beginning of the end for America's aviation giant? Stay tuned and subscribe now for more critical updates. But that was only the first sign of trouble. The true shock came just hours later. Number 5. Ryanair threatens $30 billion Boeing order. The first blow came fast and hard. Ryanair, the dominant force in European low-cost aviation, stunned the industry by halting its $30 billion Boeing 737 MAX order. The reason was crystal clear. Trump's sweeping tariffs had fundamentally altered the deal. According to internal documents leaked to the press, Ryanair CEO Michael O'Leary made it clear. If the Trump administration did not roll back the tariffs, the deliveries would remain frozen indefinitely. This move shook Boeing to its core. The order represented one of the largest single contracts in the company's history. Yet Ryanair was only the first domino to fall. As the day progressed, a Turkish carrier, a Latin American airline, and an African state-owned carrier also paused negotiations or delayed payments. All pointed to Trump's unpredictable tariff policies as the catalyst. Inside Boeing's boardroom, panic was mounting. Analysts warned that a full cancellation by Ryanair would wipe out thousands of jobs across Boeing's U.S. supply chain. Trump's attempt to protect American industries had backfired in spectacular fashion. The question now hanging over the market is chilling. If Ryanair walks away, will other global buyers follow and collapse Boeing's global dominance? Could Ryanair's withdrawal mark just the first crack in Boeing's armor? The real damage was only beginning. Number 4. Boeing's supply chain in crisis. As the shock of Ryanair's move spread, Boeing faced a second, equally dangerous blow. Trump's tariffs had not only shaken customer confidence, they had begun to strangle Boeing's global supply chain. A blanket 25% tariff on aircraft components and an aggressive 145% tariff on goods from China-sent suppliers into chaos. Small Canadian manufacturers halted shipments of critical landing gear assemblies. A respected German avionics firm paused production, awaiting clarity on whether they would be caught in the next wave of tariffs. A key Japanese electronics partner pulled out of a major contract, citing Trump's unstable trade environment. Boeing's Dreamliner plant in South Carolina scrambled to stockpile parts. In Wichita, engineers frantically searched for American-made replacements. Many components simply had no domestic alternatives. A supply chain designed to be lean and global was suddenly frozen under the weight of political interference. Trump's aggressive tariff strategy, meant to punish foreign rivals, was instead crippling one of America's most iconic manufacturers. As the crisis escalated, one question dominated discussions inside Boeing's headquarters. Could the company survive if its parts pipeline remained broken? Or had Trump's policies dealt an irreversible blow to America's aviation leader? As Boeing scrambled for parts, an even more devastating blow came from across the Atlantic. Number 3. European Union retaliation targets Boeing. Just as Boeing struggled with internal chaos, a new threat emerged from across the Atlantic. The European Union announced plans for a stunning retaliation, a $100 billion tariff package aimed directly at American industries, with Boeing squarely in the crosshairs. The reason was simple. Trump's escalating tariffs on European metals and automobiles had provoked a full-scale response. For the first time, civil aircraft, once considered untouchable due to their strategic value, were named as primary targets. Airlines like Ryanair and Lufthansa warned that the additional costs could force them to cancel or renegotiate existing Boeing orders. European leaders branded Trump's trade policy as economic sabotage. France and Germany publicly accused Washington of destabilizing the global aerospace market. Inside Boeing, the situation grew worse. CEO Kelly Ortberg and his executive team launched an urgent campaign to lobby Congress for exemptions. But there was no relief. A Senate bill aimed at shielding Boeing from these tariffs fell just 3 votes short. Trump's administration responded with a chilling warning. If lawmakers interfered, tariffs could be doubled. Boeing now stood alone. Could the company withstand a full-blown transatlantic trade war? Or would Trump's policies cripple the very industry they were supposed to protect? But external enemies were not the only threat. Inside Boeing's own headquarters, a brutal internal war was unfolding. Number 2. Boeing's internal turmoil and political paralysis. As external pressures mounted, Boeing's internal divisions reached a boiling point. CEO Kelly Ortberg, once confident that Trump's America First approach would spare Boeing, now faced an impossible choice. The tariffs were costing Boeing an estimated $3 million per aircraft. For a typical order of 100 jets, that meant a staggering $300 million loss. Ortberg convened an emergency board meeting to decide their next move. Some executives demanded drastic price cuts to hold on to contracts. Others insisted on standing firm and lobbying for tariff exemptions. The debate raged. But one reality remained clear. Trump's administration was not backing down. White House officials told Boeing's lobbyists bluntly, American companies must adapt. Meanwhile, efforts in Congress collapsed. Manufacturing state representatives pleaded with Trump to ease the aerospace tariffs. A last-ditch Senate bill failed by just 3 votes. The White House doubled down, threatening even harsher penalties if Congress interfered. Boeing found itself trapped between political warfare and financial disaster. Trump's unpredictable tariff war had boxed the company in. As global airlines started looking toward Airbus and China's Comac, the haunting question inside Boeing's boardroom remained. Would the next generation of commercial aviation be led by Seattle or by Shanghai? Yet even Boeing's internal struggles would pale compared to the human cost about to hit American workers. Number 1. Layoffs and production cuts signal a crisis. The final and most painful consequence of Trump's tariff war came home to American workers. Boeing, once a symbol of American industrial strength, was now forced to slash costs in the face of shrinking orders and rising expenses. The first cuts were subtle. Overtime was eliminated at Boeing's Renton plant. Hiring freezes were imposed at the Dreamliner facility in Charleston. Then came the devastating wave of supplier layoffs. A Texas wing manufacturer cut 100 workers. An Arizona-based cabin supplier shut down operations temporarily. A Missouri metal fabricator eliminated 2 full shifts. One longtime supplier told reporters, "We've worked with Boeing for 30 years. If this continues, we're finished." The entire aerospace supply chain, from small family businesses to major subcontractors, began to bleed jobs. Trump's tariffs, intended to protect American industry, were instead triggering a manufacturing nightmare. In a press conference, Trump dismissed the concerns. "We are protecting American skies," he declared. "If Boeing cannot adapt, someone else will." The message was clear. For Boeing, the threat was not just Airbus. China's Comac and Brazil's Embraer were already moving in to claim market share. The question is chilling. Has Trump's gamble permanently crippled America's aerospace dominance? Boeing's long reign as the world's aerospace leader now hangs by a thread. What began as Trump's bold promise to restore American manufacturing has spiraled into a global crisis for one of America's most vital industries. The sweeping tariffs, applied without warning or exception, have fractured supply chains, triggered international retaliation, and cost thousands of American jobs. Boeing's internal struggle reflects the wider dilemma facing U.S. companies caught in Trump's unpredictable trade wars. The aviation sector, once a proud symbol of American excellence, is now fighting to survive. As Airbus, Comac, and Embraer aggressively move in, Boeing's future as a global leader is no longer guaranteed. The question remains, is this the price of Trump's economic nationalism? Or is it the beginning of a slow, irreversible decline for U.S. manufacturing power? Comment below with the company you think could be next. And do not forget to subscribe for the next critical update.